Hey there. Today we'll be turning this into this. Sort of a Plague Doctor slash Dead Corps of Krieg slash Mad Max inspired mask. Now, let's go through the ingredients list. Gonna need a source of thin cardboard, not the corrugated stuff. Couple sheets of just paper towel. If it's got texture on it, even better. Maybe like 10 sheets of this line paper. Old paintbrush that you don't mind not being able to use for anything else afterwards. Some Mod Podge, matte. You can also use normal white school glue. I just find that this works a little bit better. Normal black craft paint. This is building foam, XPS foam. Got this from Home Depot. You can also use normal styrofoam. Some hot glue. You don't need a fancy hot glue gun like this though. And I didn't end up using this, but you may find some super glue handy for a couple of the steps. Okay, just a little bit of a disclaimer. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this here. A lot of the steps I'm about to show you, some of them could have been done a little bit better. Some of them ended up just being totally extraneous, and I do point them out. Also, at the end of the video, I'm going to go over what I think I could have done better with this. But for now, here's past me. Oh, also past me was a little bit sick, so ignore the croaky voice. It's still future me here. So past me had a very convoluted way of trying to explain the beginning part of this. I'm just going to cut that part out and just kind of do a little condensed version right here. The piece of cardboard that you're going to need to cut out from this is going to be the same ratio as this sheet right here. All you're going to do for the cardboard, you're going to do something like this, where this part here is the beak, and this part kind of goes over your face. Okay, and this part here will eventually get hot glued together. Okay, so here's past me for real this time. So if we do this, cut this whole piece off, then trim the edges. And for this, I get to try my new toy here, cordless scissors from Princess Auto, of course. Okay, that did a pretty decent job. Gonna stop using these for the rest of the night. A little louder than what I expected, and don't want to annoy the rest of the family. Gonna see if I can actually do a test fit with this piece. This is gonna be an issue right here. Now I have to tape that up. Normal painter's tape. Seems to be a decent fit in this position right here. Just gonna pop some tape on to sort of lock it in place. Gonna see if I can roughly mark out the eye holes by looking through it and poking my nail in, see where it's coming through. At a rough spot right about there. Craft knives are in the garage, and it's pretty late at night, so try this. Just gonna double check that. Yep. It's a decent center position for the eye hole. Yep, positions are good. So now we have this thing. Okay, so eye holes are roughly going to be that. Next step, gonna loosen this tape. Not gonna loosen this one here. This one's holding still sort of little flap in the cardboard together. Let's see how well these guys handle a curve. Okay, so now we've got this here. Just test the fit again. Maybe see if we can narrow the beak a little bit here. Okay, now we've kind of got the fit marked off here on the inside. Just going to use a hot glue gun to secure right here. Don't necessarily need this Ryobi hot glue gun. This is just one of the better ones I found. Now, just going to measure this against my face so I can see how much it needs to be sort of squished this way. Once I have the right measurement, I'm going to just hold it like that and just stick this guy in here to sort of keep the shape. Okay, so right here. It's going to hold us in place until the glue dries. Okay, now we've ended up with something like this here. And now we can start the actual sort of pseudo paper mache part. Okay, got a gross looking bowl of water here. It's the bowl I used to mix acrylic paints. The fact that there's old paint there won't matter at all. In fact, might help the paper mache be a little bit stronger. Right here, I've got Mod Podge. You can use normal white school glue with this. I'm just using this because this is well, I think it's a little bit stronger to use. Just going to mix a little bit of this in here. Stir that in. Got ordinary line paper here. Just going to tear off a strip. Try a smaller strip first. Just going to soak that in there a little bit. And literally just lay it on top of the form. Okay, for the bits around the eye holes, going to use a little square like this. just because I kind of want to get a little border on the inside there. Gonna do that, and just kind of squeeze it to form around here. Now I just want this outer bit here to be smooth. Doesn't really matter if there's a little bit of wrinkles here. It's going to be a sort of a rubber eye thingy around the outside here, which is going to cover the inner part here. That's what happens if you don't put enough on the inside there. And again, the mask I'm hoping is going to have sort of a fabric-y kind of look to it, sort of a fake leather look, if you will. So a couple of wrinkles on the outside, not that big a deal. Okay, first layer is kind of dry. Well, I should say the first 2 or 3 layers there. Seems to be adhering okay. Gonna start putting on the next set of layers right now. That's the third treatment finished. Seems pretty solid. Think we'll move on to painting now, see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna hit this thing with a base coat now. Base coat is gonna be Mod Podge, tinted with some black acrylic paint. Okay, and we're gonna tint it with a couple drops of this craft paint here. I'm going to use an old craft brush to mix this together. Remember, you're essentially going to be painting glue. Like, this is basically glue right here, so don't use a brush you're fond of. And that should do. Okay, so we're just going to layer this on right here. Okay, that's it for the first layer of Mod Podge. I'm going to try and do 2 coats, and of course we got to do the inside. So gonna let this dry. Okay, first coat of Mod Podge is dry. Gonna put a second coat on, then head to bed. Okay, that's the second base coat done. Gonna leave this guy to dry, and we'll check on that in the morning. Okay, it's now the next day. Second coat of Mod Podge is finished. What we're gonna do now is paint the inside black and get rid of this fork right here. Now, instead of just ripping this out, it's pretty stuck in there. I'm gonna do this the easy way. Gonna use some isopropyl. Just soak the hot glue right there, and yeah, just makes it come out right away. Just gonna form it a little bit here for my face, and this is pretty solid. So I'm gonna give it a quick paint job now. Okay, now we let this dry. Just gotta find a color here. Pretty sure this one's flat out. I am considering good old burnt umber. Just wonder if this is gonna end up looking like literal poop. Well, let's see. Just for the hell of it, Gonna see what this one looks like on it. Okay, this is dried right now. Now we're gonna go over this with black wash. This is essentially, if you can kind of see, it's just really watered down paint with a little bit of a flow aid, such as maybe a drop of dishwashing soap or jet dry rinse aid. This stuff here is really runny. Okay, just gonna paint this on, and it's gonna highlight and darken the material. Okay, so we've now ended up with this. And now we're going to attempt to cut the eye holes out from a piece of foam, namely this here. Not sure how well this foam is going to work, mainly because of the texture in it, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, gonna try paper macheing around this, but gonna use a paper towel just to see how this works. These guys are dry right now. These things took like about 10 hours to dry completely. I think this should be okay to use for the eyepieces, so we're going to prime these right now with black Mod Podge. And this piece right here is the cutout that was inside of these. So this is going to become the gas filter module. It's going to be somewhere around here. So we're going to cover this guy with the paper towel, paper mache as well. Didn't want to jump the gun in this one in case these ones didn't turn out okay. Gonna paint these now. Okay, gonna let these dry. See you in a bit. Okay, these two ones are dry. This one's still a little bit wet. Just gonna do a little test fit here, see how it looks. Okay, gonna paint the eye covers this color right here. And just like with the mask here, I kind of want the black to show through a little bit from underneath. So I'm not going to be doing any kind of heavy coat or anything on it. So that's these two done. The gas filter modules, the paper mache is still a little bit wet. Gonna let that dry and do this tomorrow. Okay, looks like these two are dry, as is this one. Gonna hit these two with a black wash, then we'll give this guy a base coat. Okay, gonna let these dry now for a bit. Okay, this stuff is now dry. So it got a kind of a pseudo old metallic look on the eyepieces here. So we're gonna be looking at something like this here. Gonna hot glue it in place, but gonna have to sort of hold it in place while you hot glue to make sure there's no gaps. Okay, now before we hot glue these guys, let's paint this one up. Okay, gonna leave this to dry now. Okay, so just gonna do a rough fitting on this here. Let's say something like this. Now, the only problem that we have here is I kind of eyeballed this thing when I made it. So right here, there's a little bit of an overlap here. We can kind of correct it a little bit, but there's still a teeny bit of an overlap. But easy way to fix that. We're just gonna kind of press this down here. So that it's sort of curving in a little bit here. So right there. And that looks a lot better. Okay, gonna try hot gluing these now. Now we've got this here. Also gonna hit this with another coat of black wash just for good measure. Okay, gonna let that dry now. See you in a bit. Okay, so this thing's dry right now. It's gonna attach like right there. Looks something like that. Now, a couple of ways I could attach this. I can cut off a piece of this foam right here, stick it in there, cut it short, and then just kind of attach it like that, depending how much, if I wanted like a certain angle or certain length. However, I think I'm literally just going to stick it in like this here and leave that toothpick in. I kind of like the look of that. For this one, just going to try some ordinary dollar store glue right here. Just as a test, see how this works out. This is a little runny. Let's see what happens. Okay, gonna leave it like this for a little bit, and we'll see how that works out. Okay, let's see how we're doing now with the glue. Yeah, it's firm enough. I think I'm gonna drop some hot glue in there just to hold it in place. But for the most part, this is done. All we have left now are something to cover the eye sockets, and then we'll do the straps, the head straps. So in terms of covering the eyes, there's two things I'm thinking of going with. Well, one or two things. First one is some sort of translucent dome, or even like a flat translucent lens piece, or some kind of mesh. So just to give you some examples of what we can use, this is all stuff from the dollar store. So we've got these little cup or bowl things here. We can sort of file this piece down if you wanted to. Hit it with something like this, but your color choice. Not sure how well solid nail polish will be in terms of being able to see through this, but if you can find something semi-transparent, maybe in a gray or something, could work. So this would essentially kind of sit like that. Gives it a bit of a funny look. Then we've got this pack of just little condiment cups. What we can do is literally that, and same deal with like the nail polish and so forth. Just paint it over. You can even do that with like just literal garbage, like the those little clamshell packages you get stuff in. Cut out a shape, fit it over, and we'll paint it first, then fit it over. As for mesh, we've got this stuff here. Looks like this. So you'll have some like this over the eyepiece. Second option is this stuff here, shelf liner. Same sort of deal. Kind of like the look of this one, so I think I'll go with this. Okay, on second thought, I'm thinking maybe I keep this on the inside here, because one option was hot glue on this, but concerned it may sort of show through the mesh on the edges here. The other option is super glue, but if that super glue doesn't work out, this whole piece might be ruined. Let's get the hot glue on. Yeah, just like I suspected, this would have been a hot mess on the inside right here if I'd done this. Okay, this thing is basically done at this point. There's only one thing left to do, which is we need to put some sort of head retaining device on it, i.e. a strap. Plan is we'll have 3 straps, one coming out this way around the back of the head, one coming out here connecting to that, and one from the very top going around the top of the head and joining with the other 2 right here. Now, you can use anything you want for this. You can use old cloth, long piece of Velcro, anything that won't break easily. I am going to use this here, this old belt. Well, it's not really an old belt. In fact, it's brand new, but don't worry about me ruining a belt. I've got 11 more of these. I basically got them for like 5 cents each. Long story, maybe I'll tell you guys sometime. Okay, so for the piece that goes around the top of my head, I'm going to use the end part here, so the holes are kind of hidden on the top of my head. So this is going to be connected to right here underneath, like that. And I'm just going to measure it to like maybe just slightly below where these guys would intersect it, because I can always trim off a piece if I had to. It's not so easy to add a piece if you need. Okay, right around here should be golden. We're going to try this thing again, see how well it does with real leather. I'm assuming this is real leather. Okay, gonna hit this with some hot glue now. Not quite sure if hot glue is the best thing to use in this case, but only other option I could think of would be CA glue, super glue, and that might be a little more permanent than I'd care for right now, in case this doesn't work out. Okay, so the glue's dry on this here right now. These are pretty solid now. Now I'm thinking I'm going to apply some black wash to these just to weather them a little bit and maybe bring out some of these highlights. I'm going to test it on this piece versus scrap piece right here. And let's see what it does to the little end piece right here. Okay, we'll let that dry and see what happens. Okay, looks like it's darkened up a little bit. Can't really tell that much with the lighting. The end piece is also darkened a bit. Gonna hit it with a second coat of black wash, and gonna put a first coat on these guys. Now I suspect I could have primed this leather with something to make the wash stick a little better, but like I said, this is just the first attempt at this. Also, while that's drying, just gonna see if I can work my way in here with some of the base coat just to cover that bit up. Okay, the black wash on the straps dry. So time to put the Velcro on right now. Now, here's the problem I have. I thought I had black Velcro. So what I'm going to do for the time being, I've measured against my face, and it looks like I might be able to get away just temporarily with just one piece of Velcro right here, which should be fairly hidden. This other strap here will kind of tuck in here, be fairly secure. Same on this side here. And this is just Velcro from the dollar store that I bought. Yeah, I just realized I should have put this one here, the actual kind of prickly one here. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to have this kind of jamming into my head. So let's fix that right now. And that brings us back to future me, or current me, however you want to see it. So we fixed the Velcro at the back here. And now for some final thoughts on this thing. In retrospect, in addition to the other stuff I've mentioned, I would have gone a little bit easier in the hot glue. Managed to get a little bit of squeeze out there. I'll have to clean that up. We'll have to switch this out for some black Velcro in the future, next time I go to the dollar store. And now for the happy little mistake part of the video. This little offset on the eyepiece right here, this was not intentional. This was me messing up with the hole saw when I tried to cut that out, but really like how that turned out. Also, one more thing I was considering doing, but I didn't really get a chance to do this, was to have like a second set of removable eyepieces on this thing. So you'd have the default one here with the mesh, then you would have a second one that just kind of snaps onto it, and this one, this one would have the lens, however you chose to make the lens. Now, how I was planning on doing this, I would have some strategically placed screws right here, and these screws could be embedded inside the foam and then covered up with the paper mache, or you could even have them just on the outside showing as part of the design. And the way the second lens would kind of attach to those screws would be with these little neodymium magnets right here. So you'd have corresponding neodymium magnets located in the same spots as the screw heads, and this would just kind of snap on. Also, for a first attempt at something like this, I'd say I'm fairly happy with how this came out. And one more thing, I'm not sure if I would actually describe this as a how-to video. I would say this is more of a, if I can do this, so can you kind of thing. Either way, hope you found this enjoyable. Take care. Happy Halloween. Gonna scare some trick-or-treaters with this now.